and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for a new episode of A New Go of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrysanthon, and joining me today is my co-host, A New Go's VP of Sales, Beth Bird.
Hi, everyone.
And we have a very exciting guest for you all today. Her name is Jane Meagher. Jane is the president of Success Strategies and founder of National Design Institute. Welcome to the show, Jane. So very excited to have you on today. And Jane, you are a returning guest for us. We're very lucky to have you on again. But since it's been a while and some of our listeners may not know who you are, I'd love to hear your story of how did you get into home building industry, and tell us about what is it that you do now.
First of all, thank you for having me. Great to be here with two of my favorite people. So I appreciate the invite, and hi to everybody out there. I actually got into the industry because my mom was a VP of sales and marketing for a home builder. So probably I don't really share that story a lot. So that's how I got into the industry. And now I am fortunate, after a career in home builder sales and marketing for a long time. For the last 20 something years, I own Success Strategies, and we focus specifically on home builder design studios and design collections. We work with hundreds of builders throughout 40 something states in Canada to help them with what we call the business end of design.
Wow, I didn't realize that home building was in your blood, basically. So you can
Yeah, it was. During college, I got to hostess at different sales centers and would see the architects and the model merchandisers sitting at my kitchen table with my mom. Yeah, got a good early start on that.
Jane, I have to tell you, I'm so excited to have you with us today. You're one of my heroes in this industry. I was very fortunate to be able to be part of the DC Pro training. I am DC Pro certified, and I learned so much in that program. I recommend it to everyone because there's such a need in our industry for the business side of design. I think so often we just push it aside and say, make it look pretty. And we think that's all that the selections teams do, but that's just a tiny part of what they do. And I love that you put so much focus on how do we create a great customer experience? How do we think about how to improve the builder's profit margins by selling things that people want at the right price and getting that mix? So I just have to say thank you so much for all that you've done for our industry.
Thank you, Beth, for saying that. It truly means the world to me. And especially with the training program, it started out as a need that we felt there was in the industry, but it's actually just become my passion to make sure that every builder is supporting the design team, because sometimes they get overlooked. And I feel like every design professional needs the opportunity and deserves the opportunity to be supported and trained and coached so they can rise to the top of their level, and with all the builder benefits and customer benefits that come from that. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're going to talk a lot today about the strategy and tech and experience. But first, everybody always wants to know about the trends, and you're really an expert on that. You talk about it at IBS every year. So tell us, what are some of the top design trends that you are seeing? And maybe a side note to that, are you seeing that they differ across the country, or are we tending to see the same trends nationally?
Oh, awesome question. In terms for trends, yes, every year we do a design and product trends presentation, which, by the way, is free to the industry. So we can provide that information if anybody wants to watch the full 90-minute version. But the trends, we listed 4 overarching trends that we're seeing this year in terms of the new products, features, and finishes that are being offered by home builders in their design studios or in their design collections that the public is looking for right now. And they are, let's see if I can remember. The first one we called Playback, which is really about throwback and vintage and a sense of fun and whimsical details, rounded shapes, almost anything goes design energy, which is really fun. Color patterns from the 70s and 80s, just fun stuff. And then we have another one, which has been around for a little bit, but this year we're calling it Sanctuary. And that has exhibited itself for a while in kind of those calm Scandinavian kind of wood tones and colors, the light blonder woods, but we're also seeing that's still there, but we're also seeing that exhibit now with the warmer mid wood tones and a little bit of a earthy scents and some wood grains coming back in. So that's sanctuary as well. Then our third was ridges and rhythms, which is all about texture in design. Pretty much every product manufacturer has come out with products over the last year that either have the fluting that we see everywhere or other types of textural elements, really as probably counter to staring at flat screens all day. And then the last one we talked about was immersive indulgence, which is super fun. And it's like the color drenching and a lot of these wallpaper look tiles and just this sense of I'm who I am and I'm going to go bold and go big and vibrant and all that stuff. So a lot of different trends in design. In terms of your second question, I do think that over the years, so not just the last year, but over the years, what we see trending in design and in demand by home buying customers has become more cohesive, less regional differences. As kind of good design is ubiquitous. Over the last 5 or 10 years, it really is all around us. And yeah, there's some regional differences. Our clients in Arizona and Florida, they're putting more tile in, and their customers are putting more tile in the homes. But in terms of the design sense, some regional differences, but I would say it's becoming more consistent.
So the white is out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's another thing. So we have a lot of sub trends, and one of them was you better believe in beige. And so we had the cool whites and grays for a while, like you said. Then we had like beige, and now we're like firmly in beige. Now that doesn't mean that nobody wants the whites and grays, but in terms of trends and forecasting and offering on-trend products, yes, for sure, the warmer, creamier colors instead of the stark whites.
So, Jane, I'm curious, when builders think about design, how can they position it as really a competitive advantage? And then also, how can we better communicate the value of options and upgrades when it comes to sales and marketing? I remember my own selling days. And I remember a specific instance when the customer was like, okay, I want you to take me through the model and point out every single upgrade along the way. And I remember my demo turned into this, that's an upgrade, that's an upgrade, that's an upgrade, that's an upgrade. So it was a little bit of a nightmare. So how can we do it a better way?
I think the broader question is how do we leverage design to sell more homes, to carve out our own lane in the competitive landscape, and create a compelling reason to buy from us rather than our competition. And in terms of that, I feel like it is an missed opportunity. As I said, I sold homes for builders, I ran marketing for builders. I look at the sales, marketing, and design kind of trifecta and how all those teams can work together departmentally. And I think there's a missed opportunity for a lot of builders to leverage design as that compelling USP. Now, I fully realize, especially right now in the economic climate, that home price is important, location's important, the floor plan's important, the life. I get, okay, I'm not saying design is the number one reason everyone will buy. However, for some people, it is in a top 3. And we have a missed opportunity as builders, I think, to talk about why our design experience is unique and different, why we do it better, what are the benefits to the customer, and how do we articulate that in a compelling way consistently across all of our sales and customer touch points, and how do we make sure we're delivering on that in actuality. And we've seen a lot of exciting things happen with our builder clients that really get out in front of that and carve a lane in their marketplace that they own. And that, let me just say too, that could be through design collections that are embedded into the design experience that are offered through sales or design. It could be through an a la carte design studio experience, and it could even be having design palettes that are used for your inventory or quick move-in homes that make your homes highly competitive to used homes that aren't going to have the latest design or functional benefits and features. So you can leverage design many different ways.
So this makes me think of Garment Homes as an example, and I bet you worked with Garment on their recent website, which is, of course, Anugo has done, but they've done a beautiful job showcasing different packages that they have.
Yeah.
It really was not an afterthought, but they thought about who is this customer, what's their personality. They did such a phenomenal job naming those different packages that, like, I was excited
Yeah.
looking through that as a consumer because I was like, oh, what's this cigar lounge? I was like, oh, all these different packages and the names of them. And of course, it's just true to who Garmin Homes is with their brand. But that's just one example. So if you guys want to check out garminhomes.com, check it out, see what they're doing. And when you look at like the sea of white cabinets with the rest, right? Like we've just gone through the period of, okay, you go to so many different model homes. And at the end of the day, I'd struggle to tell you which builders I visited because they all look the same.
Yeah. I love what you're saying. And I know Beth can really jump in with some details on this. So all I want to say about that is, yeah, that's a great example of if you are going to be a design forward company, not just in your floor plans and the design of the communities, but in the finishes and features that you offer your customer and leveraging that as something that's special. It is crazy to me that builders don't often utilize their internal or external marketing talent to really have a strategy around that. It's like a little bit of an afterthought, or it's, oh, maybe this month we think of it, we do a little piece of it. Like, why don't we have a multi-year strategy? Why aren't we figuring out how to own that lane? Like I said, so Beth, I know you want to jump in on that one.
I agree with you. You're preaching to the choir here, but I think that we forget that even when buyers are concerned about their budget, they're still looking at multiple homes.
Yeah.
And they're often thinking, can I picture my life here? Does this fit my style? And sometimes that can be the thing that pushes them over the edge towards one house or another because they really want to understand, does this builder offer a look that fits me? Can I imagine my life here? And so collections are such a buzzword right now. And I love that you're talking about them and focusing on them because people get so overwhelmed. They know their general style, but figuring out how to put it all together. What has been your experience with collections and your clients?
Oh, such a good question. Let me say on our consulting side of the business, which is our Elevate side, it is the single top subject. And for a lot of years, it was really about creating an exceptional customer experience, not just in design, but across all customer touch points, sales, and all departments. Or it was about reducing choice and choosing the right product at the right price and all that strategy. But right now, it's definitely about design collections. I've been preaching design collections publicly since 2017 at our own national conference, where we talked about that and really encouraged the industry to look at that. I'm a big believer that there are profitable and viable business strategies for builders in a variety of different ways. Some buyers just want to buy a quick move-in home and don't even care if the design is good. Some buyers want to buy a quick move-in home and would care if there were really a cohesive design energy that came with that home and maybe would help them choose between available home sites. So from that standpoint, that's one way. But some buyers want the a la carte design studio experience and they want to choose with the help of a design professional. Some buyers want fully custom. They don't want any guardrails and they don't care if it takes months to do it. But then there are buyers, more and more buyers, I believe, every year that want a well-designed home, but don't feel the need or don't feel confident to go out there and a la carte choose everything, even with a design professional. And they're looking for a quicker, easier path that has a cohesive design style that speaks to them. And if a builder can strategize that in a way that offers the customer what they want while they reap the internal benefits of efficiencies, maybe volume savings, and many other things, there can be a win for every buyer and every builder. But what builders have to do is figure out what they want to be known for and nail it.
Yes, I agree with you. So many buyers want to have a beautiful home that does not look like every other home on the block, but they do feel intimidated, especially if builder is not using technology to show them what that's going to look like in the future. So speaking of some of the biggest mistakes, can you point out some of those for us that you see home builders make when it comes to design studio or their processes?
Sure. And this would hold true for either that a la carte design experience or design collections.
Of course.
You nailed the first one. Too many builders still are not where they need to be with offering technology. And in this instance, we're talking really about customer facing technology. Could also be the internal back end ERP. But mostly, I think builders right now need to be making sure they're delivering the customer experience kind of omni-channel, seamless across virtual, in-person, and digital, and not just like inserting technology because they realize they're behind schedule and they're just going to get some technology platform and insert it into the experience, but really mapping that customer experience across those channels in a way where all those different types of interactions, virtual, personal, and digital, have their own purpose and their own time and are interwoven. And that could be through an online catalog or through visualization tools, or hopefully both. So definitely not being where we need to be as an industry on technology is probably a top 3 mistake. Other mistakes I would say are, especially for the a la carte builder, still offering too much stuff. We preach SKU reduction, product optimization, whatever you want to call it, but having a strategy around your product assortment and understanding what the right quantity of products is, how to create contrast across products between levels, between product categories, how to have a business strategy for that's not just, oh, gee, what looks pretty or what's on trend. I think that's a missed opportunity. And that probably goes along maybe with my other mistake, which is not treating design as a business. We started off talking about that. It's a little perplexing to me that some builders still don't do that, but it should be both a driver and an optimizer of your business goals.
Absolutely. And I love that your program has really been designed to empower leaders in the design space. I know that's a passion of yours because I've watched in so many companies, they get shoved into purchasing, or maybe if they're lucky, they get shoved into sales and marketing. Because I think if you have to pick two, that's the better department, but they just get shoved somewhere rather than being identified as a crucial business of their own within the business.
Yeah, I would say any opportunity I have to talk about our training program, which is called DC Pro, I will take, because it is, like I said, it started out more as something that we recognized was a void in the market. Nobody was serving that need. But one of the really interesting things about that is it is reaching all the business goals of creating operational efficiencies and having more of a business plan and all the skills that the design consultants learn in terms of like building value, creating desire, overcoming objection, creating rapport, all billions of things like that. But what you are touching on, Beth, that I think is so important is it's also letting the design professionals feel that they're valued, that they have a place in the business, that they can contribute more meaningfully to the customer experience, to the profitability, to the efficiency of the building company, to attracting new customers to come in on the sales and marketing front. All of these things I think are so important. And yeah, I would say I wish that every builder would support their team in some way like that.
Do you have any suggestions for how to get started? How do you start that conversation within your organization?
I think it's, first of all, looking at, like, when we work with the builder and we're looking at what is your design strategy, we're first looking at what are the overall business goals? Where's the growth going to happen over the coming years? And in which architectural series? Let's say they have townhomes and entry level and move ups, active adult, whatever it is. So it's looking at what our business goals are and what that volume growth is. And then really being strategic about understanding what are the strengths and the constraints as a business. Maybe technology is a constraint. It's not our strong point. Let's just pretend, right? We don't have the technology we need. But what is our strength? We have a state-of-the-art design studio, or we don't have a state-of-the-art design studio, but we have amazing design consultants. So from a business standpoint, we're looking at how do we take advantage of where we have strengths in our company? How do we bolster areas of weakness? And how do we make sure that contributes to the overall business goals? And a lot of it is not having the design studio be in a silo. Beth, you talked about sometimes they report to sales and marketing, sometimes to purchasing, sometimes elsewhere. It's about having sales, marketing, and design, for a start, work together on that customer experience, feeding information backwards and forwards between on-site sales, online sales, and design. And then also having design work on the other part of things with the construction team and understanding where are we causing some of our own challenges with products we maybe shouldn't be offering. How do we eliminate mistakes in the field, costly errors, like looking at all of that. So the interdepartmental opportunities, I think, are where you start.
Yeah, I agree. And probably the sales and marketing people have a crucial role in helping to pre-sell a lot of the ideas, a lot of the design, because it's really where it starts.
Yeah, it's so interesting. We say a lot that 50% or more of creating a great customer experience is what we call delivering a prepared customer to the design appointments. That can start before the sale. So, what we're saying to set expectations about our unique design experience prior to the sale should help customers overcome the hurdles regarding design that stand between them and the sale, which are typically things like, will they have the products I want? This is the customer's words. Will they have the products I want? What if I can't afford them? What if I don't know how to put this together? And other things. So it could start before the sale, but then after the sale, we also have to be looking at how does the sales team help the design team? It's not solely the sales team's requirement, but both sales and design should take responsibility for preparing the customer for that design experience, whether that is about feeding information, reestablishing the purpose of different interactions, letting the customer know what does it mean to show up prepared specifically, not just look at this stuff, we're going to send you a link, but like, how do we coach our customers to success in that process? And also the sales team feeding information about that unique customer to the design team. So it looks like we're all one team, we're all one voice that's customer focused. And then it's the design team's responsibility to feed information back to the sales or forward to construction so that it is a smooth experience for the customer.
Yeah.
And Jane, how do you think technology can make that experience better, both before they come to the design studio and in their design appointment?
Oh, that is the best question, Beth, and we could be talking about that for hours. I think, again, if builders are taking advantage of the types of online catalogs or visualization technology that exists, we think about those platforms as both sales tools and customer experience tools. So prior to the sale, we should think of them as sales tools. That means they have different goals and different responsibilities, which are about getting the customer to decide to buy from you. Then once the customer purchases, then there's an opportunity for those platforms to be customer experience tools and create a simpler, more streamlined way of the customer digesting and understanding the options and included features that are available and helping them through a proper sequence on making actual decisions about what they want to buy. And the tools' responsibilities there are different. We can't just throw up a picture of something. We have to be able to talk about the value of it, the functional and design benefits of the products to uphold the value, the investment amount the customer is going to give us. So a ton of opportunities, both pre-sale and post-sale for that technology, for sure.
And Jane, do you see that builders who utilize technology, I can imagine that the time that their customers spend
for sure
in the studios probably shrinks, but by the same token, how do you manage that balance between technology and personal touch? Because I think one downside of technology can be is that it sometimes make it feel cold experience.
Let me take those two different questions there, and they were both great. So the first one is, does it reduce the time in the studio? Let's be clear, for some builders, they need to reduce the time. And the technology is one important tool that can do that. There's other things that can be done in combination with it. But for those builders that have their design teams spending way too much time with the customers, the technology in advance, when we use it as an advanced shopping tool, it can and should reduce that time. But not every builder is spending too much time with their customers. In that case, technology still has an important role. It helps to front load information so that the time spent with the design consultant is of higher and better use, less on what we call menu level, just what the heck is even available here? What decisions am I going to be asked to make? Those are menu level shopping questions, is what we call them in our training program. And it's more about, what can I learn about the subset of products I've already decided I'm probably interested in? So the customer gets a better experience. So they may need to reduce time, but whether or not they do, having technology as an advanced shopping tool is going to create a better experience in the studio, for sure. And I already forgot what the second part of your question was.
Second one was about how do you marry the both experiences, right? Like technology, and then there's the human touch, and how
Yes.
do you make it seamless and warm?
Yeah, I think that there's things we do so that the customer on their own in the comfort of their home can digest and comprehend information both on a macro level and on a micro level. So just in terms of the scope and the breadth, but also on individual products when they're learning about those SKUs. The technology can do that when the customer is home, but we might do slightly different things for when the customer is in studio with the design consultant guiding them. At that point, seeing those same technology platforms is probably comforting to the customer. They know where things are and what they're looking for, but the design consultant can use those platforms in different ways in combination with other in-person tools and samples, or even other digital assets that they might have, in addition to their own verbal skills that they're learning about how to coach the customer to optimize their product selections. So I think there's a lot of ways we can intermingle the two, and we should, so that it feels very seamless and very comfortable for the customer. But I think the broader point is that it starts with understanding how is this technology being used at every point, before the sale, after the sale at home, after the sale in the studio, and really thinking about what are we trying to achieve there, and then making sure that we do achieve that. So hopefully that answered the question.
Yes, for sure. I think Beth is passionate about that one because so many of our customers purchase a tool and we see them just use it on the marketing side or just on the sales side. And it's like, no, there's so many different use
Yes.
cases. Like you can really use that same tool throughout the entire customer journey.
Yeah, I love that. And customers are expecting that. We're way beyond the point where we're wondering if customers shop like this. It seems even silly to say customers shop like that for all other product categories. Why aren't they in home building? It seems silly to say, yet not every home builder yet is providing that experience, but I look forward to when they all are.
Actually, you know what? The quick question for you on that. With builders that you see, that you work with, what percentage would you say are using some sort of a visualization technology versus not?
To be literal about the question, if you're asking about builders that we work with, I would say the type of builder that is going to come to us is a forward-looking builder that wants to optimize their experience and places value in experts in different business aspects of their building. We're a discretionary purchase. Not every builder needs to hire a design studio expert for training or consulting, or even to create a design studio for them or any kind of business strategy. So the builders that we work with, more than the average, are on some type of technology platform, yet still not all are. Oftentimes they come to us because they want to, and they realize that's missing, and they know they need a whole strategy. They need help in selecting or optimizing the technology that they're about to get or have and aren't clear on how to use it. But you guys might want to talk about how you help your builders do the same thing once they have decided to go with your product. Like, how do you coach them to use it optimally?
Coaching is the key word there, Jane. I think it's so easy to just deliver a product and say, here you go, have fun, good luck. But we've got to come alongside and talk about how does this really interact with your customer?
Yeah.
When you are side by side with a customer in the sales center, how do we use this?
Yeah.
When you're side by side in that design appointment, let's go to that screen. Let's practice ahead of time. Let's talk about real life situations, and let's apply all of these tools and reuse them, because you mentioned this earlier, when the customer sees the same technology at multiple points in the process, it gives them a confidence. It's familiar, and they understand that this is a through line throughout your experience, and that gives them a lot of peace. And so it's about practice, consistency, and using the resources you have to the maximum capability.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's a mistake maybe that builders think they're going to get this technology platform and it's going to solve everything. And I think, Beth, your point is so strong. Like any important tool, it can go a long way towards solving things, but you have to support it with a policy and a practice. You have to feed the right data into it. You have to pull the right data out of it. It's not a plug and play. It's something that builders need to commit, I think, time, energy, and dollars, and the right human resources to optimizing it just like they would with any other important part of their business. They wouldn't just adopt a new construction method without training the team and figuring out how that's going to fit in. And how do we have to adjust what we're doing with our trade partners to take advantage of that? You don't just pop it in there. You need to support it.
So Jane, what do you see as the next thing in the evolution of design studios? What are some new things that we should be thinking about? What does the future of the design studio look like?
First of all, I'm always excited for every next iteration. I feel we're always excited for wherever it's going to go. That's our job, right? Is to help the industry take advantage of the paths that are ahead. I think two of the things are what we've already touched on, which is there's still far a way to go in terms of customer facing technology, but also with looking at design collections and where that can serve even maybe a part of your business. Maybe you have higher end homes that are still going to have maybe a semi-custom or an a la carte design studio concierge level experience. And there's a really important place for that still in the industry and for a lot of builders' entirety of their business. But for some builders, there's maybe their lower level homes, their townhomes or their entry level homes, maybe having strategic design collections, not just a bunch of pretty stuff that got put together because it's important to be beautiful, but there's a lot more than that too. Maybe between technology and collections, there's still a lot of opportunity for us to capture and really delivering the experience that I think customers are looking for. Our tagline a lot of times is think like a consumer, act like a retailer. So I think just really getting in the heads of the customer and understanding how they make decisions, how to influence the mechanics of decision making. And there's so many strategies builders are not fully utilizing on that, whether it is SKU optimization, color blocking. There's so many things we can do to really get in the heads of the customer and better serve them. And lots of things we can be focusing on for sure.
Jane, if somebody wants to focus on all those things with you, please tell us where can they find you and tell us a little bit more about your next DC Pro or any other programs that you have available.
Oh, thank you. Our website is optforsuccess.net. I think you see it right on our logo there. And the way that we support the building industry is through a diverse range of services, all focused on the business end of design. So we've created over, oh my gosh, I don't even know, over 180 or 190 now design studio environments through our Design Studio Express and our Ultimate Design Studio programs. We've been honored with over 30 national awards for Best Design Center in the country. And that's taking all kinds of retail theory and consumer purchase psychology and creating environments that support optimal customer experiences. So that's one way we work with builders. Another is through our Elevate consulting programs, where we work with executive leadership in the business strategies on a custom content, whatever the builder's goals are. By far, the most affordable program and our best value program is our DC Pro training and certification program. In the 5 years since this has been out, we have had about 1,000 learners, design studio professionals, and some others in the home building industry through that program, including many of the industry's top home builders that are not all inventory home builders. For most of them, it is a mandatory part of onboarding now for their new teams, and they've put their entire national teams through the program, which makes me very excited for those consultants and managers. So that is a super affordable way. It's a year-long program, online on demand. That's our DC Pro program. We just wrapped up the Club for Design Studio Managers, which was an 8-month in-person and remote experience for 25 of the nation's top design studio managers and VPs. We came together as a group, and we're looking at every few years we do different programs for managers. So we'll be doing something again in the next year or two. We can do that to support managers. Let's see what else we have. We have all kinds of stuff going on. So I would say keep an eye on our website and on our social media, and we'll be letting you know about new and exciting opportunities coming up.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Jane, where on social media do you most often hang out?
We're mostly on Facebook and LinkedIn. We're not big on Insta because we don't feel like a lot of the builder executives are on Insta looking for our services. So right now, Facebook and LinkedIn.
Makes sense. Thank you so very much for being our guest today. I'm sure our listeners will find the information so helpful. And again, you guys, She is the pro here. She's been there, done that. So when it comes to your design studio, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Leave it to the professionals. So 100% check out Jane's website and make sure you guys work with Jane. So thank you so much for being a guest for us again, repeating guest. And I will link your first appearance so that you guys can go back and listen to that show as well. And yeah, hopefully we will see you in person at one of the events this summer.
I want to say thank you to Anya and Beth for not only just being strong female leaders in our industry, but for also providing programs like this that offer education to the industry, because I think that is such a critical part of how we all become experts and grow and learn. I've been blessed to have the opportunity to both teach and learn at tons of events and webinars over the years. And it's people like you guys that provide that learning opportunity for everybody out there. So thank you guys for doing that. It's an important thing to do in the industry.
Thank you so much. You're so very kind.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Jane.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.